Okay, this video is going to show you the solutions to the complex numbers quiz that was taken in class. Let's read the directions first. Simplify each complex number. Write your answer in standard form. You have to show your work. Okay, so problem number 1. Notice we have the square root of a negative. See that negative under the radical? That would mean that it is not a real number. If you plug the square root of negative 100 into most calculators, it will give you an error message because it is not a real number. And a lot of calculators won't work with numbers that are not real. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to rewrite this as I times the square root of 100. When we have a negative under a radical, your first step is to pull the negative out as an I to indicate that we're dealing with numbers that are not real. They're imaginary. Then we simplify the radical like we did in the section on simplifying radicals. So we want to look at is that 100 is a perfect square. It is 10 times 10. So the square root of 100 is 10. So we have I times 10. But we don't write I10. We write 10I. So our answer, 10I. Problem number 2. We have a negative number under the radical. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to write it as I times the square root of 75. And then we're going to simplify that square root of 75. 75, 5 times 15. 75, you divide by 5, you get 15. Divide by 5 again. So we have a pair of 5s. Five squared times 3. The 5 squared will come out as a 5 because the square root of 25 is 5. So we have 5I times the square root of 3. The 3 has to stay under the radical, and there's our answer to number 2. Problem number 3. Again, we have a negative number under the radical. We can't make a negative times a negative into a positive because that negative under the radical, well, it's under the radical. So we're going to first of all bring the negative that's under the radical out as an I. Notice it's now a positive 28. So the negative under the radical comes out as an I to indicate we're dealing with non-real numbers, imaginary numbers. Then we simplify the square root of 28. 28 is 2 and 14. 14 is 2 and 7. Our prime factorization is 2 squared times 7. So the 4, which is our 2 squared, is going to come out as a 2. So this 2 squared right here is going to come out as a 2. Comes out as a 2. 7 stays underneath. We have negative 6I times the square root of 7. And there is our answer, negative 6I times the square root of 7. Okay, problem number 4. First thing I want you to notice is there is a subtraction sign right there. We are subtracting. We are not multiplying. When we add, subtract, and multiply complex numbers, we treat the I like a variable, except sometimes we have to use I squared equals negative 1. In this case, we're subtracting, so we're not going to involve an I squared. There's no multiplying. We're just subtracting. This negative has to distribute. So we have negative 7 plus 4I. These first parentheses are just grouping. They're not doing anything else. A minus 10, and we subtract a negative 11. We're really adding 11I. That negative turns into a positive, subtracting a negative. Double negative. Now we combine like terms. I'm going to move them around a little bit. I have a negative 7 and a negative 10. I have a positive 4I and a positive 11I. Combine the like terms. Negative 7 take away 10 is negative 17. 4 plus 11 is 15. But 15I. Notice how we're treating the I like a variable, even though it's a number. And there's our answer. Now notice the order. Standard form for a complex number is A plus BI. The I term goes last. Okay, problem number 5. Now we are multiplying. Notice the parentheses smashed right next to each other. That means we are multiplying. So we're going to use the distributive property, or if you want, you can do the table, the box method. So we do 2 minus 3I times negative 4 plus 6I. And then we'll multiply. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. And if you use the distributive property, it works out the same way. There's our 2 times negative 4. We're going to do 2 times 6i and get 12i. That's this product right there. Okay. Oh, wait, and I'll write these in a minute. Negative 4 times negative 3i is positive 12i. And then negative 3i times 6i is negative, oops, lost my negative, don't do that, negative 18i squared. Okay, so then we're going to add all this up. So we have negative 8, we're going to add a 12i and a 12i, and a negative 18i squared. We're going to put those four together. So we have negative 8 plus 24i, 12 and 12 make 24. Back here we have a negative 18 times a negative 1. Remember, I squared is negative 1. Negative 18 times negative 1 is positive 18. The negative 8 plus the 18 is going to be a 10. So we have 10 plus 24i. So 10 plus 24i is the answer we're looking for. Notice the order. Standard form is a plus bi. So the 10 comes first, the 24i comes second. And that is solutions to the complex numbers quiz.